For 1,348,000 is the Hyundai Stargazer X. The best MPV out there right now? Let's find out. Welcome to the garage on Ride By. For today's first ride review, we have Hyundai's top-of-the-line variant in the Stargazer MPV model, which is, they call it simply the X. Okay, so it's priced at 1,348,000. It has the same engine as every other variant, so it's a 1.5-liter four-cylinder engine. They call it the Smart Stream, I think. And it makes about 113, 114 horsepower and about 144, 145 Newton-meters of torque with Hyundai's version of a CVT. They call it an IVT, which stands for Intelligent Variable Transmission. Now, what makes the X so special? Kasi before the X came about, the GLS already had all the features that you would want in an MPV. Well, when you get the X, the biggest upgrades are with the tires, with the wheels and tires. So you get 50 series 17-inch Goodyear Triple Max 2. So these are all season tires. So nice semi-low profile for that sporty look. Probably don't need to. They kind of fill up the wheel wells better than in the GLS. Then you also get the plastic cladding here to protect the fenders. Meron din dito sa skirts. Sa brochure, they say that it has front and rear skid plates, pero that's kind of a misnomer, sa totoo lang. So you get this the trademark grille here na horizontal slats na Malastaria, which is actually very nice, lalo na with this complex headlamp cluster here with the strip type DRLs. So yung skid plate niya is may cover dito, may protection siya to protect it from rocks and all of that, but it's plastic. It's not really steel. So that's to be expected, no? I mean, you can always upgrade it with sa aftermarket, but at least meron ka. So it's just to protect the underside here. Ganon din sa likod, but it's plastic. Okay. And then yung brakes niya, I'm happy to note, they are discs front and rear. So stopping power niya is very strong, especially since it has standard ABS. Now, about the styling. You know, I've been talking to a lot of people, and it's a kind of a love it or hate it appeal with the Stargazer. Personally, here when I look at the front, especially when you look at the combination of, lalo na pag tinted out yung windshield dito, so very futuristic, medyo sci-fi, yung grille niya, it looks very complex, lalo na with the headlamp cluster. So para siyang Star yan na pinaliit. So it's nice. Remember that this car, the Stargazer, was launched back in 2022. It's 2025, 3 years on. It still looks fresh. Hindi siya nakakasawa tingnan. So that's good. On the side here, the wheels, the upgraded wheels, do a good job of filling out the wheel wells. So mas proportional yung itsura niya, yung silhouette niya. And I like the sweep of the roofline here. Tapos merong roof rails pa dito para may konti pang sporty appeal. So very nice. Ngayon yung problema lang, at least in my opinion, is from a certain angle. I'll show you. Sabi dito tayo sa likod. Wait, bago tayo doon sa angulo na yan. Yung back view muna, also nice. These tail lamps, these LED tail lamps, lalo na with this bar over here to connect the two sides. Para siyang, so it's a play on the Stargazer X theme. So para siyang TIE Fighter. So kung mahilig ka sa mga Star Wars, ayos yan. So it still looks nice up to today. And then of course yung silver here na cladding adds a bit of sporty appeal. It's kind of like parang yung appeal ng yung sa Mitsubishi Expander Cross. Oops. Ganun eh. Now here's what I'm talking about. The kind of awkward angle, which is this one. You see it? So some people, they say that from this angle, mukha siyang computer mouse. Kasi sweep, and then parang kung may giant na kamay yung click, 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 click. But for me, actually, it kind of reminds me of something else. It's a bit cute. Maybe some people will find it unflattering, pero for me, para siyang biik. You know? Parang biik eh. Lalo na pula. So para siyang lechon. So I don't know if people have coined the term yet, but for me, I've been calling it the Cochinillo. But you know what? If that's the worst thing that can be said about this car, that is fine. Because otherwise, I've been driving it for about a week now. And honestly, I just love it. Let me show you why. So, with the Stargazer X, you get the best version of the somewhat controversial cockpit. So, on muna natin siya. Siyempre, push button start na to, no? You get a rather small infotainment screen. It is only 8 inches. So nakakaloko tong panel na to because it's actually the bezel for this this bezel that combines the touchscreen with the instrument cluster. So it's about 8 inches, and for the driver panel, it's about 4.2 inches. But you know what they say, size ain't everything, it's what you do with it. So with this one, the engineers had the good sense to put physical buttons and dials for the features that you will likely be using a lot. So dial here for the power and the volume, here for the tuning the radio. Aircon mo, manual. Single zone lang siya, and I like that. So a simple aircon system is easier and cheaper to maintain in the long term kasi wala ka mga electrical pan sa papalitan kung nasira man. Going back to the touchscreen, so the touchscreen is basically what you use just mainly for the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's wireless, by the way. Apple CarPlay here was actually pretty easy to sync with the phone. But, of course, with safety in mind, it will not allow you to sync your phone for the first time if you are moving. Papayag lang siya pag nasa park yung transmission. So, good job there. The X has the full suite, an almost full suite of advanced driver aids, but it's not accessed here. You have to access it here through the touchscreen and the buttons here on the steering wheel. So, driver, attention, warning, leading vehicle departure. So, it basically monitors the car in front of you kung may preno na masyadong biglaan and you are not paying attention. Driving safety, ano yan? Warning volume, forward safety collision, emergency braking, nice. Blind spot safety. So when you're changing lanes, it will warn you if may malapit na vehicle, whether you use your turn signals or not. Safe exit, or safe exit meaning it's safe to open the door or merong baka may tao dun sa blind spot mo. And lane keeping, they call it lane safety. As usual, I don't like that feature, so I just turn it off and it's easy. And maganda, when you turn off the car and turn it on again, it doesn't reset. So, kung in-off po talaga, hindi siya mag-on mag-isa. So, that's good. Then, with this information panel, one of the most useful displays is may tire pressure monitor siya, great. Yung trip odometer, which pretty complete. So, every time you start, it resets to 0 to get you your trip distance and your time driving. Meron ka ding since refueling. So, I've driven 99.4 kilometers since I refueled yesterday. I've got an average of 13.4. So, pretty comprehensive yung driving information niya. And for those who are curious, actually nakakatuwa kasi ang tipid ng kotse nito. With the 1.5, so it's tuned more for grunt than for outright power. I was stuck in traffic for Friday, parang 3 hours sa C5. It was like, So we still got around 8.9 kilometers per liter. And then on the highway, average ko kahapon in Sunday driving was about 15, 16 kilometers per liter. Actually, going down Tagaytay, of course, that's downhill. Umabot pa nga ng 21 eh. So matipid siya. Okay. Now going on back to the functionality of the cockpit. Steering wheel, before I noted that the design of the steering wheel 4-spoke, para siyang nasa Star Trek shuttle. So, okay. The pattern here, the hard plastic, is still yung old school na medyo 90s, yung may grain na parang I don't know what you call it. Basta. And then you got leatherette on the steering wheel rim. And then, I love this dashboard, sa totoo lang. This is one of the most thoughtfully designed dashboards in the industry right now. Kasi sa totoo lang, dashboard is basically, it's just a molding of plastic, diba? But Hyundai engineers took the time to shape it in such a way that you can really store and lose a lot of stuff pag makalimutan mo saan mo nilagay yung mga gamit mo. So like this part here is a shelf. Dito, pwede ka pa maglagay dito. I don't think it's designed as a shelf, but you can still use it as one. You got a shelf here, and there are partitions. You got this tray here, this wireless charging pad actually. Pero in practice, I really use it as a tray for other items like yung radio namin, and I just use a wired charger. So you got a USB-C, you got a cigarette lighter port, variable size cup holders. Here's a center console. So as you can see, kasha yung tall na Starbucks, kasha yung malaking flask. This is 800 milliliters. And if you want to expand the size even more, you just remove this panel. Naku, baka masira ako. Yun. There. Oh. Galing. Console box is here. So, normal size lang siya. Glove box, okay. Yan ang bang hidden compartment? Wala. Wala under the seat. Then you've got multiple recesses to sa door pockets for bottles. Kasha? No, hindi na kasha yung malaking flask, oversized flask dito, pero kasha pa rin yung mga small bottles of Coke, cans of Coke, things like that. Meron pa nga ditong, meron pa ditong pocket for smaller items. Ito yung nakakatawa. Nung dumating yung kotse sa akin nun, ang SOP ko palagi before I go out is I have to check nasan yung RFID cards because I don't want to be one of those guys holding up traffic dahil wala pa ng load. So I always have to check the load. Or kung kailangan, dalagyan ko ng load. Sa dami ng mga storage places dito, hindi ko talaga makita. Tingnan ako na dito, ganyan, hindi ako na yung envelope, wala. Finally, I realized this is actually a compartment. O nga naman, no? So there's this spring-loaded cover here and tada! Galing! So, galing. So, very thoughtful. And there's more. Let's go to the back. As you can see, the seats look like it's covered in leather, but actually it's leatherette, which is fine. Although, if it was fabric, I'd actually be okay or better with fabric, plain fabric. So again, here, door panels mo ng pasahero. May malaki ka na namang cup holder or bottle holder. Try natin kung kakasya to. Ay, ayos. Ayos, min. Then, sa likod ng driver's seat, you've got pockets here for phones and envelopes, magazine, dyaryo. Dito, sa side na to, you have a fold-out tray table. Ayos, kaya lang. Okay, pwede mo i-level. Pwede siya i-level. Then may pockets ka pa. You get 2 USB-A charger ports and a little pocket over here. Yung aircon vents mo, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nasa taas. Analog dial. Wala nang vent. Yeah, wala nang vent sa likod. But you've got 4, so you can assign 2 para dito sa middle row. And the middle 2 for the back row. Okay. Seat comfort. Good leg room and headroom. Can you recline it? Wow! You can recline it. Ayos. So you got the standard shoulder seat belts for the outboard passengers, but for the middle is this one. Natago na yung buckle. Okay. It's a little elaborate. Ayaw eh. Did I break it? Ayun! Okay.
Safe na safe.
Wow, safe na safe. So, as you can see, medyo maarte yung seatbelt for the center middle passenger. But, on the other hand, at least meron kang shoulder part pa na belt. Most middle passengers kasi lap belt lang eh. So, you get the least protection. Here, at least you get the same protection as the other passengers. So, let's go on to the third row. Okay, to access the third row, there's this lever here, you push it down. When you push it down, nare-release din yung catch sa ilalim, so it tumbles forward. Okay. Usable space. I wouldn't say it's fantastic. Okay. So, I'm 5'8". There's still okay space here for me in terms of leg room. Pero the backrest Mababa talaga siya. Pag ganyan, okay na siya. So, nominally, you can seat 2. Pero alam mo mga Pinoy, talagang kaya na sardinas. So, pwede pa nga may pangatlo dito na bata. O yung pag mga outing, alam mo na mga gawain natin, diba? And nice thing pa, you even get 12 volt, 180 watt cigarette lighter type charging outlet here. May hooks ka pa dito for bags or grocery bags. May cup holder ka na naman and more pockets. So very, very, very thoughtful. So shoulder belts for the 2 passengers. So let's see how easy or how hard it is to exit. Aha! Uy! Uy! O naman! So yun yung mga kailangan mong ingatan with these things. If you're not careful or kung kulang yung action mo, the seat can swing back down and squish your foot. Nabigat yan. Okay. Wala. Ay, wala palang power tailgate. Okay. I don't think any MPV in this bracket has a power tailgate anyway. Okay, so with the third row seat up, there's still some space for soft bags. For serious cargo use, you need to fold at least the third row down. It's easy, you just pull this tab here. So once you do that, you get pretty useful cargo area. Can put a couple of suitcases already, golf bag, pwede na. And what more when we fold down the second row too. So when you fold down all the seats, you get pretty big space back there. Parang kang naging van na rin actually yung loob ng Stargazer. Hindi lang siya completely flat kasi may lubog na area na, which actually makes it useful for potted plants and things like that. Kung mga plantita ka, marami kang malalagay ng mga halaman dito sa loob. So now, let's go for a drive. We're just going around exploring Hermosa right now, so moderate traffic lang. I have put in about easily 250 kilometers on the car for the past couple of days, so really like the driving position. Feels very natural position to me. The steering wheel has an ideal angle. It's still telescopic, adjustable. Seats are very comfortable. They're firm where they need to be. There's no adjustable lumbar support, so it's fixed pero okay dito, so it doesn't hurt my lower back on longer drives. Yung seat position, it's a bit higher than normal kasi nga it's an MPV, so mas mataas talaga yung seat height mo. But even when you lower it, it's still hindi naman nakakalula masyado. Although for shorter people, you can raise it really high na give you that view up. But I don't like that. I just like to keep it as low as possible. This is the X, so this is the top-of-the-line variant. So it has the full suite of advanced driving aids. That includes lane keeping, blind spot, traffic red sign recognition, auto high beam on-off. Pero wala siyang adaptive cruise control. It's just regular cruise control. So I found that the programming of the cruise control is kind of basic. It's not that great at maintaining the speed that you want when the road is going downhill. Because I experienced this the other day on Cavitex. I set it at 90. So okay naman siya when the road was level. But the moment we hit that long downhill, so gravity was doing its thing and you're creeping up 92, 95, 96. So it's easily 5% higher than what you want. So for those who depend on cruise control to follow the speed limit, you might want to keep an eye on your speed nonetheless kasi before you know it, baka lampas ka na sa speed limit and mahuli ka pa. However, the blind spot system is very helpful because this car has some substantial blind spots. So you got the blind spots dun sa may D pillars kasi ang taba niya talaga dun sa kanto. You can easily hide a person there if you're reversing. And then may blind spots din dito sa harap. After the A pillars, there's another pillar here. So they tried to reduce the blind spot by incorporating quarter panel glass. But this still can hide an obstacle when you're turning left or right. Ako personally, when I'm making a sharp turn, I have to move a bit just to make sure that there's really nothing there when I make my turn. But otherwise, the driving assistant, the advanced driving aid is quite pretty good. They do the job as intended. And if you don't set nga the volume to a low setting in blind spot, baka nakakagulat siya minsan when I want to change lanes and then may kotse, nakita ko na nga, so I know that it's there. And malayo pa naman, pero medyo conservative siya. Lakas talaga. So I actually set the alert to a lower volume. Hyundai would prefer that you not refer to their transmission as a CVT. It is an IVT or Intelligent Variable Transmission. And the way it's different is that it's very intelligently or smartly engineered so that it's very responsive off the line. Hindi siya yung traditional, typical rubber band feel of a CVT. So, off the line, yung responsiveness niya, it's geared low already, like a traditional torque converter automatic. So that's good. And it even has, when you put it in manual mode, 8 simulated gears. So, very useful siya, very handy to maximize the power of the engine kasi nga it's only about 113 horsepower. So, when you're loaded, when you need to accelerate, when you need to go overtake, you need to make the most of that power. And the only way to do that is kung hindi ganun kataas naman yung power is really, ibawi mo sa transmission mo. Handling-wise, Stargazer X is actually very well sorted out even though it has higher ground clearance. So it's not a tiptoey sensation out on the road. Maganda yung suspension damping niya. It's very disciplined, very well controlled. And because of course, it also has all disc brakes, so it's a nice upgrade, and it gives you a better, more linear feel in terms of the application of the stopping power, in pressure niya on the pedals. It's very easy to modulate, and when you press hard, it just stops you. Of course, it also has ABS. One thing lang, one shortcoming that you'll notice more the more you drive it is that medyo manipis siya in terms of NVH or noise, vibration, harshness materials. Yung insulation niya medyo kulang. Right now we're in Vermosa, so very tahimik naman yung mga kalye. You won't really notice it here, but on busier roads, yun yung type yung surround ka ng mga tricycle, yung mga kamote na naka-open pipe, mga jeep na the noise, especially higher frequencies, tatagos talaga dun sa bintana. It happened to me a couple of days ago. I actually thought na iwan ko nakabukas yung bintana kasi the sound was really penetrating the cabin already. Then I realized, hindi ganun kakapal yung insulation materials niya sa loob. So you can hear the rumble of the tires, you can hear the wind noise, it's not overwhelming, but you can notice it after a while. So the only solution there is makasama na lang yung volume ng radyo mo. Ganun na lang. Now, in terms of one criticism I've heard from the start with the Stargazer is, yeah, it's got a great value, great price and all of that. Pero Stargazer, pero wala siyang sunroof, di ba? Although, sa totoo lang, I don't really look for a sunroof in an MPV. I look for space, I look for utility. And because it has these vents here, ceiling-mounted vents, there's not much space left for a sunroof. So, kung ito na rin natira, ano pang klaseng sunroof malalagay mo dyan? Parang nag-abala ka pa, and you add more complexity to the car, and it also reduces the stiffness of the chassis, the stiffness of the roof. So, mako-compromise mo yan. And in addition, having experience owning cars na may sunroof, it's not really that big a deal. Kasi if you don't, unless you open and close it regularly, if you keep it closed most of the time, after a while, baka may possibility na mag-jam talaga yung gaskets, yung seals, dun sa ano, and then masa-stuck pa yung sunroof mo. And then you might even leak pag umulan talaga and nabulok na yung mga seals. So, just having a solid roof is actually a better deal. And in terms of all of the features that you get with this car, it's actually pretty good already. Right. Now, in terms of highway stability, the wheelbase of the Stargazer, medyo mahaba siya. So, it's very stable and comfortable ride. I've put about 200 to 250 kilometers already in this car, the highway and back roads ng Tagaytay and Antipolo. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would because the steering is quite precise and sharp within the limits of an electrically power driven steering. Of course, hindi nakagaya ng mga dati na hydraulic na very rich in feel. But in terms of steering effort, it's not too light. Sakto lang yung weight ng steering wheel. And then again, suspension, very stable and comfortable. If only for that noise, I would actually say it's luxurious, but it's not. It's not a luxurious ride, okay? Let's not kid ourselves. But it's a very good family-rented vehicle. Doesn't feel cheap. That's what I wanted to say. Doesn't feel cheap at all. Feels well built, well made. I wouldn't have a problem driving this for a long road trip because the seats are very comfortable. I've stuck in this car for like 4 hours on Friday in Friday rush hour traffic. Walang problema except for the gas consumption. Medyo bumagsak nga lang to about 9 kilometers to a liter, which is still actually good kasi mas mabilis pa nga tumakbo nun eh. Takbo. So, but in terms of if I had to use this as a daily driver sa city, walang problema. Because, again, it's a no-brainer. It's easy to park. Doesn't have 360-degree cameras, by the way, but it does have yung rear camera and yung guidelines so you can tell where the wheel is oriented relative to the angle of your car. And of course, may backup sensors din siya. So overall, pretty good. I mean, like, it's not meant to be a luxury wagon. It's just an all-around, very competent family vehicle. And on that, the Stargazer X does it really well. I mean, even the basic variants are already good cars. Pero when you get the X, I think it's really worth the upgrade for the small premium that they put on top of the car. Well, that's really nice. To be honest, I wasn't expecting much when Hyundai offered to lend me the Stargazer. But I was like, how exciting can this car be? But I was really surprised at how well sorted out and how thoughtfully designed the car is. I'm not normally an MPV kind of person, but I have no problems with driving this car every day if I had to. It has spirit, it has spunk, and it's a super useful car. I mean, like, for 1.3 million, 1,348, very good deal. So now, let's break down the scores. Performance, 1.5 liter, that's torquey, very responsive transmission, wala ka lang paddle shifters, but you still get the manual control for all 8 speeds. This is a lot. You're not gonna use that manual mode a lot, but it's nice to know that it's there and it's responsive. Hindi siya mas marunong pa sa'yo, which I hate with some other transmissions there. Performance, and it's also economical. 9 in the city, 15 to 20 in the highway. It's hard to beat that kind of fuel economy, especially for an internal combustion car. So performance, 8 out of 10. Here's where the car performs better than what the brochure might suggest, because front struts, rear torsion beam, how exciting can that be? But man, when you're out on the road, it's actually it rides soft, but it has a sporty touch to it. Very controlled yung movements niya. It always feels very stable. You can steer sharply if you need it to. The brakes are strong because all disc brakes nga yan. Even with the higher ground clearance of 200 millimeters, there's only a little bit more body roll than you might expect, but it pays off when you're hitting rough roads. Syempre, hindi mo naman yung off-road talaga, but when you hit potholes and all of that, it gives you that confidence that, sige lang, okay lang yan, kaya, hindi yan sasayad. So, handling, 8.5 out of 10. Okay, styling. Okay, here, I love the front fascia. It's basically like a Starya at 85% zoom. Okay? And then, silhouette niya, or yung side view niya, okay pa rin. Kasi with the cladding, it's a very balanced look, very proportional, lalo na with the 17-inch wheels. The only way I might want to upgrade is baka okay pa kaya kung mag-18s na o baka OA na yon. Baka OA na. But still, looks sporty and elegant. You know, hindi ka mapapahiya. Mapagmamalaki mo to sa mga kapitbahay mo. But then again, the rear 3/4 angle kind of looks awkward. Doon nawawala yung grace ng sasakyan na to. It's kind of like, I guess it's because of this part. When you see it from the back, doon yung parang medyo weird. Naging Cochinillo nga eh. So, styling, maybe 8 out of 10. Would have been a 9 if only for that. Utility. Oh wow, what's an easy 10? You've got so many compartments, so many pockets, so many cup holders there. Mawawala na yung mga gamit mo kung medyo malimutin ka, kagaya ko. Okay? Utility, 10 out of 10. Value for money. Even with the base variant, the Stargazer is an excellent deal. Parang a little bit under 1 million and you already get a very good basic platform. You know, yung interior niyan, pareho lang naman yon except mas dressed up lang to. Of course, with the X, again, you get the upgraded wheels, better interior, I mean, mas elegant yung interior. Value for money, 9.5 out of 10. I love this car, you know. Normally, at this price point, mapapaisip ko na, should I get a Chinese SUV? You can already get a very well-equipped Chinese SUV or even an entry-level hybrid already. Pero it's an MPV, so how do you quantify the value of having a true 7-seater vehicle for under 1.5 million, di ba? And then at the same time, matipid siya. Ang sarap siyang ibiyahe, ang sarap siyang i-daily kung city car lang siya. It's a very versatile platform. So, for overall, I'll have to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Alright, so let us know what you think in the comments. Kung may violent reaction ka dyan, just let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So before I forget, I need to show you one cool feature that the Stargazer has that is usually found in higher-end cars. So, meron siyang remote engine start. And to activate it, all I need to do is double tap the lock button and then long press dun sa hold button here. So, try natin. 1001, 1002, 1003. Oh, ang galing naman! Very cool! So, on a hot day, this lets you pre-cool the car as you approach it. And that means wala makakapasok na loko-loko kahit umaandar na yung makina kasi nakalock pa siya. So you still need to unlock it. Of course, this presupposes that you left the car na naka-on yung aircon. Okay? So kung naka-off yung aircon, in-start pa yung makina, wala din, diba? So make sure to, if you're gonna use this feature, that you leave your car